3.
Finally, it's time for the 535 Mr. Fine Fine Show. Today we have a fabulous interview with the founding father of the Mr. Fine Show himself, Fred Fine. How you doing, Fred? Good to see you. Yeah,
I'm doing
nice.
fine, Mr. Fran Fine. I'm doing fine.
Good evening. My name is Fran Free, and I'll be doing the fine, far out, fabulous interview with Mr. Fine himself, Mr. Fred Fine. How you doing, Mr. Fine? How are you?
Doing fine, Mr. Fine. Mr. Fran Fine. I'm doing fine.
All right, Mr. Fine, your first question. When was the famous 535 fun-filled Mr. Fine Fine talk show first founded?
Wow, that truly was a fine first question, Fran. Founded on the 1st of February of 1944, and the first feature flustered fleets of flamboyant followers, but flawlessly focused with a fine identity. Like Fine, we find success in the forecast of forever.
That was truly a fine factual answer for the first fine question, Mr. Fine Fine. You're fine, Mr. Fine. Thank you, Mr. Fine. Yeah.
Trust me. Oh, no. I'm doing fine, friend. I am Mr. Fine. Don't ever forget that. I will always be fine.
You're looking mighty fine, Mr. Fred Fine.
Yeah, you know what? I'm doing fine.
Well, Mr. Fine, Fred, for a fact, how fine are you?
Well, I'm doing.
Oh, I'm fine. I'm really fine. Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, good. Okay, here's a serious question for you, Mr. Fine.
Okay.
How many fines are there in your fine family, Mr. Fred Fine?
Well, actually, Mr. Fran, including friends, there's only a few of us Fines to be found. There's Snow and Shorty Fine, Benedict Fine, JJ and John Prime Fine, Lori and Bucko Fine, Hannaford and Sparky Fuzzy Fine, Sam Lamenstein Fine, Barry Mary Larry Fine, Gail, Alex, David Fine, even have a few fine friends, and Homer Leggings Fine himself just hanging from a fine cowboy right above my head.
That's fine, Mr. Fine, for sure. You are fortunate to have such an unforgivably fine family. Frankly, Mr. Fine, can fine be fun?
Well, let's first define fun. Fun is forever fondling with friendly, fresh, feathered foxes and flawlessly flicking footbag with the fantastic, free-flying Fallbrook Fischetti brothers.
Wow. Well, I guess we're down to the last question.
Oh, no.
I know. It's been a quick interview.
That was quick, friend.
Well, how was Fine founded, Mr. Fine?
Well, one day, my father and I were flying forward from this fancy formal when we saw this ferociously friend freaking out feeding a fudge. I was very confused because it wasn't fat or fast, but fulfilled the fine that fried the field. And I was flabbergasted, but we became to be fine.
Mr. Fine, that was great, man. You're awesome, Mr. Fine. I'm fine. You're fine. You're looking fine. I'm looking fine. Hey, everybody's fine.
Everyone's looking fine, Fred. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go and do fine, wonderfully, foundingly friendly things. So thank you, Fran, for this wonderful interview. Do you have any closing statements?